So I just want to do a quick video explaining the process of how to get two passports, because I don't think a lot of people know that this is an option for American citizens and that the process is a little bit complicated, but really doesn't take too much time if you go to a passport agency. So there's two options for this. You can either send them in through the mail, or you can go through a passport agency and get them same day. There are some requirements for the passport agency. You do need to prove that you are leaving the country within 2 weeks. So you have to have a plane ticket, or sometimes you can use a letter from your employer stating that you are leaving and the date you are leaving. You don't have to show that until you arrive though. Before you show up, you definitely need to make an appointment. And there's only 26 passport agencies and not a lot in the middle of the United States. So if you're by one, I was about 3 hours from one, you can go through them. And I got my passports printed in about 2 hours, which was awesome. If not, you can send them through the mail, but that does take a lot longer. Even the expedited process has been said to take sometimes up to 7 weeks. You can also upgrade your passports to 50-page passports for free while you're applying, so you can have all the extra space, because the other ones only have about 17 pages in them. So this gives you a lot of extra spaces for stamps and visas. One thing you do need to know though, to get two passports, you need a good reason. Usually they want to know that you are going to different countries that don't allow you in if they see the stamp from the other country, or there might be some political tension with that. My main reason I gave them was that I was going to so many countries, over 20, and I would need stamps for all those countries, and 11 of them needed visas, which take 1 to 2 pages. So with all of that, the extra space was definitely needed, but I also made it apparent that there could be that political tension too. There was no known countries, but I could definitely encounter that with all the countries I was going to, and they gave them to me. Some other benefits of these that aren't reasons they will give them to you, but they're great to have, is you can apply for 2 visas at once, or if one gets lost or stolen during your travels, you still have your other passport. Now, there are 2 types of forms that you may need to fill out for this. The first one is just kind of the general passport form, the DS-82. That's if you already have your previous passport, it hasn't been expired for a really long time, or you weren't under the age of 16 when you got it, and you can turn that in physically when you go or mail it in. If you don't have your passport, it was stolen, lost, or whatever, maybe you never got a passport before, you're gonna have to do the DS-11 form, which is a little more extensive, ask more questions about your parents' background and all of that. But either one you submit 2 of if you want 2 passports, and you gotta pay 2 expedited fees if you go in person, or if you're sending it through the mail, whatever service you decide, you just need 2 of everything. And you need some passport photos, and to prove your need for 2, you got to do that in a personal letter that you sign saying why you need to, the political tensions or just the extra space, whatever your reasoning is for, sign that. And then you need to come and bring proof that you're leaving the country within less than 2 weeks. I think they said about 12 or 13 days. It has to be that. They want to know that too when you schedule your appointment, so you got to give them a date, but they'll schedule you an appointment within those 13 days, and then you got to prove that that's actually when you're leaving when you show up in person. It didn't take me too long to get these passports. I arrived, probably waited about an hour to see someone, give them all my paperwork, and then I waited another 2 hours and then picked them up in person. They were all printed out. So this is just my personal experience with this certain passport office. I'm sure it varies and I'm sure it changes with time, but there's a lot of information online, or you could also call them with any questions. Make sure you have all the right documentation so you're ready, and then it's a pretty easy process. And I think it's great for travelers because having 2 passports is invaluable. A couple other passport tips that I just learned is always put an AirTag in your passport so you never lose it. You can just kind of tape it in. It's a little bulky, but then you make sure you always know where it is, or if it's stolen, you can try to find it. Also, always bring a notarized copy of your passport. You can have a notarized sheet and then sign it, and the notary will kind of verify that this is the correct document, and you can give them out to officials at any police checkpoints, or any officials you don't know if they're really legit, because a lot of them will try to write in your passport, and that's something you can't lose and you can't have them take. It's a lot safer, and then if they end up keeping the notarized copy, that's fine.